Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your February 2020 mid-month general reading. So we're looking at the last half of February. Welcome everyone. Thanks for all of your support. Thanks for being here today. So this reading is for the air sign of Gemini, or twins, for the last half of February 2020. So that's Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising, Gemini Moon, if your Venus is in Gemini, or if you are cross-watching for a Gemini as well. But as many of you know, if not all of you, general readings always resonate a little differently. So if you know all of your signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, watch them. It can provide helpful and additional clarification information, kind of give you a bigger picture. If this reading resonates for you, or if any of the readings resonate for you and you'd like to reach out for a personal one-on-one reading to take a deeper look at anything, you can click on the description link below for more information and contact details. Just click on the little arrow that pulls down the information. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. And all of that's included in the description link. I do readings full-time, so I'm pretty diligent at working with people's schedules to get readings out to you or scheduled with you in as timely a fashion as possible. And I do offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. So if you're interested, send me an email and we'll go from there. Okay, Gemini, our twins. Let us see what the last half of February has in store for you. We begin with the Two of Swords, followed by the Chariot, Death, endings or transformations, followed by the Star. Overall energy from the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. This looks like a potentially pretty profound time, although I believe a lot of it is some profound internal changes that are going on, and changes can sometimes be difficult, challenging. There is definitely a pretty strong sense of transformation happening here. There might be an ending in there. Well, there is an ending, because transformation by its very nature represents something must end in order for something to transform into something else. And I feel you're kind of sitting in that energy for the last half of February. It's a short period of time we're looking at, just 2 weeks. It might be in regards to a relationship. I've gotten a lot of that energy from readings lately. This is kind of the Valentine's Day season, and I know we've got a full moon and some retrograde energy coming up. But it feels like, at least perhaps maybe right in the middle of the month or the third week or so, there's more of a feeling of maybe being stuck or not seeing something that's a truth perhaps that's right in front of you, which actually means that truth is kind of residing inside of you, but there might be a reluctance or resistance to look at it head on, because when we do that, that's when we're forced to confront whatever it is, with this Two of Swords here. Swords is governed by the element of air, which is mental energy. It's all about our thoughts and words, communication, wisdom, insight, belief systems, how we perceive things. The Two of Swords can represent feeling stuck, feeling at a crossroads, stuck. But the blindfold can represent you either don't know which way to go, or more often it's a card that represents there is some kind of truth, something that needs to be seen, looked at, confronted, so therein opportunity can lie for change. The card preceding this, I mean, when you look at the cards in chronological order, they're in chronological order for a reason, because it steps in our path, our journey through life. And the card prior to this is the Ace of Swords, which is that enlightenment, the light bulb going off, the epiphany, seeing something perhaps for the first time or in its complete reality, a new perspective. And then we have the Two of Swords, which can sometimes represent that maybe a truth has come to you, something was revealed to you previously. And but it was maybe too painful for us to look at, or too difficult for us to look at, because it required making a choice or a decision or a change perhaps you weren't ready to make. And so then we go into the Two of Swords energy here, where there's a blindfold on. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to acknowledge it, because then we have to deal with it. And it's about how to move forward in something. Because the Two of Swords is clarified by the Chariot, a very powerful success card. It's a card that represents moving very powerfully, aggressively, assertively towards your goal, being very ambitious and driven about achieving something, success in some way, pulling together everything that you need and making everything work together in unison and harmony, not letting anything get in your way, so that you can achieve powerful movement forward, or successful movement. So there's this sense of feeling stuck, not being able to move forward in the way that you want to in a particular situation, Gemini. But I'm getting this feeling that for some of you, the reason you're not moving forward towards what you want, and this is a general reading, there's lots of you watching, so everyone's got their own unique details in their own life story. So for some of you, this might be a relationship, love and romance, or otherwise. It could be a work or career situation, a project of some kind. There's something in this area of your life that you really want to have, that you really want to achieve. And I think in the recent past, or at least sometime in the not too long ago past, you had some kind of wake-up call or illumination on what was keeping you from actually having what you want. But it was difficult for you to deal with, and you couldn't make perhaps the decisions and choices you needed to, because it might represent turning your back on something, or closing the door on something, or ending something that wasn't going to lead you towards what you truly want, and you weren't really ready, or didn't feel like you were ready to face that. And so now we have this energy which is actually keeping you from moving forward in the way that you ultimately really want, because something is holding you back from actually acting on a truth I feel you already have inside of you, because your overall energy is the Queen of Cups. This is the Queen of Water, which is about emotions, feelings, relationships. It's our intuition as well. And kings and queens have reached the top of their suit. They've grown and matured and learned and evolved beyond that page and knight energy. So they're queens and kings now. And that means that they've reached a point where they've mastered the character traits, the elements that are, inherent or natural to their suit. Cups is emotions, feelings, intuition. The Queen of Cups is a very spiritual and very intuitive, deeply feeling individual. She's very aware of those things within herself and around her. The only one that really rivals the Queen of Cups for being very spiritually connected and intuitive is perhaps the High Priestess. And often when the Queen of Cups shows up, it can be an indication or advice on going within and seeing what your feelings and your intuitions are actually telling you about a situation, because the Queen of Cups typically already knows. She has a feeling, she has an intuitive sense about this. And the Two of Swords also implies, because of the ace that went before it, that you have had something revealed, some truth, but you're stuck. You're stuck and you can't get past that point, because it would usually represent making a choice perhaps, or setting down an ultimatum. You're not ready to do that because you're afraid of the consequences, or you're afraid, for example, in a romantic relationship, if it's not going where you want it to, and perhaps maybe you've seen that you need to maybe make an ultimatum and say, look, we need to work on this, or it can't continue, or just leave, but you don't want to do that because you're emotionally attached to the person. But it's not really, you're not getting what you want, and you're not where you want to be. And so you keep yourself in this kind of Two of Swords energy, because you think it's better than the potential outcome if you do something. But yet it keeps you in this stuck and unhappy place. Even though I think your intuition is telling you what needs to happen in order for this to move forward, or cut yourself free from it so you can open yourself up to what is actually right for you, what you actually really ultimately want. Whether this is relationship, love or romance, family, friends, a work situation, a project, career path even. Usually this Two of Swords stuck energy represents something that we don't want to let go of or challenge because we're afraid of moving on without it. And for a time we can keep ourselves thinking that it's better to be in an unhappy situation than not to be in that situation at all. You know, the stories we tell ourselves. So however that applies to you. But you're going through major transformations during this time because as human beings, we are meant to evolve. God, Spirit, your angels and guides, we are meant to evolve. That's why we're here. So when we don't, we struggle and we resist and things go around and around, but we're always going through something that's meant for us to evolve. And I think that's what, and I see that's actually what you're going through during this time period quite strongly, Gemini. You might be not looking at something or not wanting to act on something, but there's all of this transformation energy going on inside of you. And if you're keeping yourself in the stuck energy, that compulsion, that desire to move on can be quite painful. You know, what we resist persists. And I can see that, but you are going through it anyway. You are slowly transforming. We have death followed by the star, which I really like because death can represent an ending, complete transformation, because rebirth needs to occur. It always represents transformation, which means something must end. And sometimes it has to end in a very complete, dissociate from it way, or transforms into something else. But with the star is faith restored, hope renewed, restored. And this energy is showing up more towards the end of February, beginning of March. There's some kind of huge transformative process going on, some ending of something and some transformation, which can be difficult and challenging always. However, it does bring with it, and what is carrying it is the energy of the star, which is knowing that you're right on the right path. It's one of the wish fulfillment cards, knowing that whatever path you're on is leading to joy and fulfillment. And this is also a card that says God, Spirit, your angels and guides are cradling you through this process, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. You know, like the footprints in the sand story, so to speak. It looks like a very profound time, although during this short period of time, it may feel, for some of you, at least in the beginning or around the middle of the month, it may feel heavy, challenging, or painful, but it's because of that Two of Swords energy. So let go or open yourself up to the possibility that something must be let go of, and ask God, Spirit, your angels and guides to kind of help you through that, and they will. You're going through this huge, utter transformation. It's incredible. Let's pull, I mean, this is a major, it's major arcana energy for such a short period of time, because we're really only looking at a couple of weeks, although timing always being fluid, never more so than in a general reading. This is probably a situation that's been going on for some time, but I feel like things are getting to that end, transformation, death, rebirth point. So let's pull an advice card. How can Gemini best navigate through this energy for the last half of February? I almost feel like there's kind of this voice with the star saying, take heart, my dear. You're almost there. You're almost there. We had one jump right out. Makes sense. The Nine of Wands, you are almost there. The Nine of Wands represents someone, a soldier. What do soldiers do? They fight battles. They go through quite a bit. He's been through quite a bit. You've been through quite a bit. There may be one last challenge, one last hurdle. You're so close to completion of a cycle. Tens are completion. We're at the 9 here. You can't see it because it's right around the corner, but you're so very close to wrapping up the cycle to completion and moving on. But you feel tired, maybe depressed, worn out, discouraged. I don't know how to get through this. Can I get through this? I don't know how to do this. The Nine of Wands as advice is the push through card. It's the card that says this is like the 11th hour, it's darkest before the dawn card. But the dawn is right around the corner. Remember that star, it's right there. The star shines a light in the darkness. And that's faith renewed and restored, and you are just so almost there. The sooner you can move out of this Two of Swords, the better. But free will, free agency, as I always say. So that's what the last half of February looks like for you, Gemini. I hope that this reading has been hopeful and helpful too. You're going through a necessary, it looks like, evolvement, and it's always to your joy and fulfillment afterwards, even if sometimes for a short period of time it doesn't seem like that. You're almost there. Just hang in there, and maybe try and take that blindfold off while you're at it. Okay, Gemini, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the March 2020 general readings. If this reading resonated with you, or if any of them do, and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, take a deeper look at something, just click on the description link below, click on that little arrow, and you'll see more info. Contact me directly at Maggie_McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. And I will see you all in a couple of weeks. I hope to anyway. Take care. Bye-bye.